some work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come on, Scooby-Doo.
Hello, my name is Ethan, and I'm here to talk to you about why you are here today. Tonight we are focusing on the story of David and Goliath, the story most of you are familiar with, but if not, the story is about a young shepherd who stumbles upon a war zone and somehow defeats the biggest, baddest soldiers the Philistines have to offer, with only a couple of stones. The lowly shepherd, David, had always lived a simple life, and probably never dreamed that anything like this could ever happen to him. Let's take a closer look at David. Who is David? David was the son of Jesse. He was the youngest of 8 brothers, just one of an estimated 800,000 men of the world at the time. He wasn't a king, and he wasn't a soldier. He was just David, another lowly shepherd. So think about this. Who are you? I'm the son of Randall and Jennifer, youngest of 2 kids, just one of over 7 billion people in this world. I'm not a king, and I'm not a soldier. I'm just Ethan. David and I may be living 3,000 years apart, but we still have this one string that connects us, our faith in the Lord. One of the most, David's story in 1 Samuel chapter 17 is one of bravery, one of complete trust in the Lord. David faced down a seemingly impossible task, but somehow came upon the confidence and strength to accomplish it. One of the most insightful things I've heard about confidence is that it's when you're able to humble yourself and realize that it's truly not about you, but about your God, that you will truly have the confidence to do anything you desire. You see, David really doesn't belong in this story. The only reason he's even here at this battle is because he's bringing food to his brothers. It was only by the power of God that he's even in this position, and David understands this. So when God called David to defeat Goliath, there was no hesitation and no fear, because David knew God's mission, and he put it above his own. When he first met Goliath, he was this larger-than-life, unreal beast. He was the biggest boulder in the Israelites' path to defeating the Philistines. In chapter 17, verse 45, David says to Goliath, "You come against me with the sword and spear and scimitar, but I come against you in the name of the Lord of hosts." David has the utmost trust in the Lord to deliver him to victory, that he's willing to face the Philistine equivalent of LeBron James with nothing but a few measly stones. And the irony is that even the biggest boulder in the path of the Israelites can be smashed to tiny pieces by a few pebbles through the work of our God. And that's just what David did. The big thing to look at here is even though David may not belong in the story, he's there living in the pages. He marched to Judah. He opposed Goliath, and he struck him down. God could have sent any number of men to go take down the giant, but no, he deliberately chose David. David lived a life of content as a shepherd. He loved God and was a righteous man, but lacked a sense of forward direction. God often paves a path for us in life, to lead us closer to him and to bring our gifts to the world, but so often we lack the trust in him to walk along the path. The paths are rarely straight and often difficult to navigate, but if you rely on him to get you through the journey, he'll carry you through the valleys, through the wilderness, and through the mountaintops. And you'll be right where you need to be. For myself, I know this hasn't always been as easy as it sounds. Over the past few years, there are too many times to count where I've looked away from God and tried to stay on my own path. When I would look away from God, life would seem so unclear. I would constantly question everything in my life, and confidence was a hard thing to come by. But over the past few months, I've strived to look to God to lead me down his path for every conflict I come upon. For example, 3 weeks ago, I thought I'd be sitting at home all summer, seeing my friends and working my 2 jobs here in Plano. Well, there in Plano. But God had different plans for me. 4 days before summer started, God sent me the opportunity to go work at a summer camp I had never heard of before. The idea was scary. It required me to leave behind all my friends for the family for the summer. But looking back on the past 2 weeks, the sacrifice seems small compared to the way God has changed me and those around me at this camp. God's intention cannot be matched when it comes to paving our paths in life. It's up to us to place our trust where it needs to be. You see, we all have the same bag of stones that David used to defeat Goliath. God's grace is always available, sitting right in our pockets, just waiting to be thrown. And I love this item of a stone that David has. Stone is so much. I love it so much because a stone is such a manual object to use. It's not a heat-seeking missile that does all the work for you. You have to pick it up, you have to aim it, and you have to throw it. But my absolute favorite part about this story that is how it never tells us just how many stones David has. This symbolizes that you can literally never run out of this power God provides to us, and that's simply amazing. I look around this room and I see 0.000000003% of the world's population right in front of me. 150 servants surrendering their lives to God for a week. Not because it's fun, not because it's easy, because He called you here. Just like God brought David to Goliath, God takes you places in life you could never imagine. Over the rest of your lives, you're going to be faced with some Goliaths. My challenge to every single one of you is to surrender your hearts and minds to God, not only in the midst of Goliaths, but in everyday life. Keep your hand in that bag of stones that you carry around.